Well, it was an eventful evening yesterday, and overnight, still a number of things a bit fluid with the situation in Iran. Nonetheless, in advance of the 8 p.m. Eastern deadline set by Trump for the Iranian regime to meet his terms, else face civilizational eradication, the Iranians came to, apparently, via a deal brokered via Pakistan. And I heard somewhere that the Chicoms apparently were responsible for nudging the Iranian leadership, all 2.5 of them left, to take the deal and to work with Trump. Sam Rajovsky here behind the What's Right microphone. Friends, welcome to the program. Good to be with you. Happy Wednesday. Gosh, middle of the week, and it's already been something, Robbie. Yeah, keep this up. We'll be completely out of gas. And I don't mean petrol. I mean just out of energy by Friday. No, friends. I'm a pro. I got this. I got the bases covered. Okay. Sam at what'srightshow.com. At What's Right Sam on X is my account on the platform formerly known as Twitter. So almost, let's see. So it was 5 p.m. my time, 8 p.m. Eastern was the drop dead moment where if the Iranians did not bend to Trump's will, they would do what? They would face, and by the way, people out there very seriously saying that nuclear war was on the table based on Trump's tweet. And of course, I think it was what Trump had implied. I mean, the kind of destruction that he threatened seemed to be, the outlines of it seemed to be nuclear. Now, did you honestly, it's a litmus test, it's an intelligence test. Did you think that Trump would be dropping nuclear bombs on Iran? Well, I didn't. Okay, I don't think producer Robbie did either. And for me, I think as I was sitting yesterday on X, wondering what the hell would happen, I'm looking at just a cascade, okay, of just absurdities, reactions. I mean, every person, even people I thought were reasonable, just squealing about how Trump can't do this and how these are war crimes and how we're going to charge every pilot and every tech in the Air Force that loaded weapons tech that loaded the bombs in the bombers. Every single one of them was going to be brought up on war crime charges just as soon as they could get around to it. There were polymarket odds saying regime change in the U.S. was more likely than in Iran. All of this nonsense. And what did I tell you yesterday? What did I tell you the day before? Every time these people hyperventilate like this, every time that they push it farther and farther along and into crazy land about Trump, they're just, I'm getting wigging out the enemy. I mean, if the Iranian regime is monitoring the situation, and presumably there's still some people in their intel that are, and they are following key accounts and trying to figure out the mood of the country, every lib and brainless twit yesterday in our country and in the West was convinced that Trump was actually going to start nuking, Iran, was helpful in creating the pressure that ultimately led to the deal. As I say, these are unwitting helpers of Donald Trump to affect his foreign policy. Don't let them in on this little secret. So I do mean this seriously. There is, to me, there was, if you could understand what was happening, that was good. Yep, you're a smart person. You've passed the test. If you actually thought that this all was, there was going to be an Armageddon moment, I don't know. I mean, of course, maybe, but not likely. Never was. If you read Art of the Deal, This is very important, understanding how Trump operates. If you read his book, if you see how he deals with stuff, if you view this all through the prism of a hard-nosed real estate developer, you understand he asks for the stars and settles for the moon. You understand that if he wants $20 from you, he's going to ask for 1,000. And that's where we're at. I mean, look at the Greenland thing. I'm going to invade Greenland. We're going to go and we're going to send troops. And the whole world has a conniption fit. And finally, what do we get? Bases, access to rare earth minerals, more spending from NATO, concessions galore, all stuff that were not on the table. If he'd asked for those things, he wouldn't have gotten them. He would have gotten a lot less. And I keep telling people this. I'm a lawyer. This is what I do. I argue with people for a living. If a client of mine has a $10,000 injury or a $100,000 injury or $1 million injury, I don't ask for the amount that they're owed. I ask for a lot. I'm not going to give away any trade secrets here, but just trust me, I ask for a lot. And the defense, they'll look at me and they'll listen and go, "You're crazy." I said, "You're damn right I am." And guess what? Sometimes when we go to trial and we ask for a lot, we get a lot. And it's the fear of that happening that brings them to the table. So here, the mullahs in Iran had to figure out if Trump actually was loco enough to drop, little man and fat boy on him. Okay? Nagasaki and Hiroshima, name of the bombs, dropped on Japan, effectively ending World War II. This is what it was, 100%. And that's why I'm telling you, every person who was going, "Oh my gosh, Trump is a war criminal," and all this stuff, the UN, you see Mike Walls at the UN, he got booed when he said, and President Trump, and as soon as he got Trump up, didn't even get the MP out, and he was just boo, 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 everybody booing. This is great. I love it. Been going around X as I'm trolling all these idiots, and I'm like, I hope Iran's reading this because it's ultimately going to get this thing done. Now, what did it do? I mean, let's talk about this, because I saw the reports. I'm sure, did you see this? That the regime apparently mobilized kids, people, their citizens, to go stand on bridges because Trump said that today was going to be Bridge Day, that the infrastructure was going to get bombed. You remember this? I wonder if the people have had enough. Right? Can you imagine, just for a moment, imagine that you don't live in a blessed country like ours. Imagine that you've woken up in the middle of a nightmare and you're actually, living in Iran under Islamic mullah rule. And they got on their loudspeakers, "Attention, attention, today everybody's going to get out on the bridges because Trump's going to be bombing you, so go," right? Human shields. This is what, Islamists do. It's par for the course. Okay. Think about it in your head. Just let it roll around for a minute. If the call came out for me to do that with my family, if the call came out for me to send my children to a bridge that had been threatened by the U.S. or anybody, and the regime made me leave my home, made my kids go out and stand on that infrastructure, I don't know. I would be pretty upset at the regime. This would not be some sort of unifying event behind which I would suddenly come to my senses and go, boy, you know what? These Ayatollahs are really great stuff. So I think it's a psychological war here at this point. Now, the deal, the 10-point deal that apparently was agreed to, and I'm seeing some different things this morning, so I'm kind of just, as of the recording now, I'm not 100% clear on everything, and we'll obviously we'll know more come tomorrow. But the strait needs to be opened. That's a big thing, and apparently it's going to be a 2-week pause. So no bombs, no kinetic war. But again, this is what I keep mentioning. The psychological war here is immense. And I think you're going to start to see the regime fray even further along the edges than it already has. So this is great. Oh, and by the way, it says everybody now saying that Trump tacoed. Trump always chickens out. That's the acronym. So Trump tacoed. And so the same people yesterday that were telling you that Trump was a genocidal, homicidal maniac, that he was about to genocide millions of people, today are like, he's a chicken. He didn't do it, see? It's like, what? Literally. I don't know. It's not funny. I'm laughing at it. These people are just dumb. But this is the problem with liberals. There's no consistency. You could, if two different things, 2 different days. Just normal stuff. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Gavin Newsom, I got to tell about Gavin Newsom. I'm sitting here in Las Vegas. Beautiful downtown Las Vegas. If you've never been to downtown Las Vegas, if you visit Vegas but don't come downtown, you're missing out. You got to come visit. You got to come see the Arts District. It's beautiful. It's a great spot. So I'm sitting here, and as I like to joke, not to the west of me, but to the left of us, here in beautiful southern Nevada, is the great state of California, aka the Communist Republic of California. Now, Newsom, you got to understand. Newsom is playing for keeps. Newsom has been laying down the groundwork for 2028, okay, for probably the last 15 years, all right? When you look at certainly the last, let's call it the last 3, maybe 4 presidential races, Newsom has been very careful to be the party go-to boy, all right? Supported faithfully Hillary Clinton, supported faithfully Joe Biden, supported faithfully Kamala Harris. And remember, by the way, he supported faithfully Biden in round 2 until the announcement came out, until the Biden, and then right on cue, Gavin Newsom went right to Kamala Harris, didn't even skip a beat. Just like the homicidal maniac to taco maneuver that the Democrats have done over the past, call it 24 hours. Back then in the 2024 election, Newsom shifted from Joe Biden is the only man to lead this country forward to Kamala's our girl. Now, why am I giving you all the stuff that you already know? I'm just painting a picture, reminding everybody that, that Newsom is, but this is it. This is his moment, right? There's not an incumbent Democrat. If another Democrat were to get elected, he'd be out for 8 years. This is it. And so you're going to start to see all the efforts that he's making. And the more he's out there, the more bad it gets. You see that his wife, by the way, his wife isn't helping. The California Post. This is the sister newspaper to the New York Post. Now active in California. They just opened up this year. Did a whole thing on the First Lady of California. And basically said that she's a huge problem for Newsom. There's some tape that came out. I didn't know that. So apparently Jennifer, her name's Jennifer Siebel, I think is Siebel Newsom. I think does she have a hyphen in there, or does she just lump it all together? I don't know. Anyway, I already think she's a bozo because of the entire Harvey Weinstein thing. Yeah, she, I think, is the only or one of 2 Weinstein accusers whose case went to trial and Weinstein was acquitted. Weinstein, in the midst of the full bloom fury of the Me Too movement. Weinstein, who had been derided in the liberal press as basically a mass rapist, right? I mean, you could sneeze in court and get the jury to go with you if it was against him, and they didn't believe her. This is my point, right? He didn't believe her. Okay, she went up there. Oh, he raped me. It was sexual assault. And the jury's like, I don't think so. I think it was consensual. I think you knew what you were doing. She was an actress, wanted to get into a movie. Bada boom, bada bang. So now there's a video that came out of her talking to San Quentin prisoners. This is a big prison where kind of the worst of California go. State prison, horrible place. You wouldn't want to be there. Yeah, it's not a five-diamond resort. So she was there talking to the prisoners, and did you see this? She says, "Oh, well, I killed my sister as a little girl." And I made a mistake. It was a mistake. It was a whoopsie daisy, and you guys made mistakes too, and I relate. Now, what is it all about? Right. Well, I think Ms. Newsom was like, what, 6 years old, and there was some accident. Her sister did die. But this is such an absurd thing, and there's all this stuff is coming out right now. So they're trying to clean it up, and what they're doing with Newsom is they're trying to paint California as some great success story. And here's where it just gets really fun. So they are touting, the mainstream media has a new narrative that California's GDP, gross domestic product, just in California, is up 40% since Gavin ascended to the throne in Sacramento, right? Gross domestic product surged 40% to more than $4 trillion, accounting for more than 14% of U.S. output. This is all talking points from the campaign. But this is the problem. First of all, they're counting all the fraud in the numbers. Yeah, turns out one of the biggest industries in California is healthcare fraud. This is great. I love it. Well, look, money's money, right? Think about this. Just Medicare fraud in LA alone is estimated at over $3.5 billion. 15 to 25% of statewide Medi-Cal spending is estimated, minimum, 15 to 25% in the state of California, to be going to fraud. And I'm not even talking about homelessness, the high-speed rail, all this nonsense. And it's funny because, why are all these companies leaving the state, right? This is always what I want to know. If it's such a great place to do business, if the GDP is going up so much, if there's all this economic activity that keeps growing and growing, I don't feel it. Hell, I lived in California before Gavin Newsom came to power. I don't anymore. Spoiler alert. So to me, this is just like reality denialism, but they're trying to gild a turd. You go to California has the best weather, beautiful, beautiful scenery. It's got the ocean, it's got the mountains, it's got rivers and streams and lakes, gorgeous. But everything that government touches in California turns to dog poo. And the people in charge, universally, with very little exception, a few pockets here and there, are the Democrats. And Gavin Newsom is their king. Now he wants to be our king. Watch for the spin. Pay attention to this. It's going to be, well, a little funny, actually, but actually also quite scary. People will get manipulated by this. Just you watch. Sam Murjovsky here on the What's Right Media Network. The show brought to you by Sam and Ash Injury Law, because you deserve what's right.
The Sam and Ash team, they wanted me to have the best care. They had my interests at heart. I have an enormous amount of gratitude. I cannot say enough thank you.
Hi, friends. Welcome back. Sam Murjovsky here behind the What's Right microphone. I was cruising on the freeway yesterday here in Las Vegas. Saw a police officer pull over a car that had no license plate, tinted windows, right? You know, the type of car I'm talking about. No insurance, probably. Maybe the guy didn't even have a license. This is what I see all the time happening out there when people are driving, trying to stay out of trouble, and they get hit by these insane drivers. Many of them aren't even doing the bare minimum to protect themselves, let alone you out on the roads. Don't go at it alone, okay? Even if it's completely straightforward, everybody has insurance, you're still dealing with an insurance company that's going to want to screw you. It's how it works. It's how they make their money. Collect the premiums, don't pay out on claims. That's the entire model. Don't be a victim twice, right? Don't get hit, get hurt, and then end up being upside down for something that wasn't your fault. All right, Sam and Ash Injury Law. That's the firm to call. 800-304-2000. samandashlaw.com. samandashlaw.com. That's the website. No recovery, no fee, no money out of pocket, just a phone call away. And you offload all of that work on Sam and Ash. Do it, and do it today. 800-304-2000, samandashlaw.com, because you deserve what's right. Okay, folks, let me tell you, I saw this. I'm not surprised. Abigail Spanberger, who's the new governor there in Virginia, is not popular, apparently. You know, did you see her poll numbers are in the toilet? Well, you know, I'll tell you exactly what happened in Virginia, right? You had Glenn Youngkin, who was not a Trump, MAGA Republican. He was a sensible, sweater-wearing, old-school Republican type, country club Republican. And he decided in his infinite wisdom, okay, he won in Virginia, sure he did. And he was in office, okay? And then he hand-selected Winsome Earl Sears, who did not win. She was a terrible candidate. You know, this all transpired in November, all right? So then what? November 2024, right? So now Spanberger becomes the 2025, right, Robbie? It was just this fall. So anyway, Spanberger gets in office, okay, and she runs on a platform of being a moderate, right? But the Democrats that won in Virginia are radicals. They're raising taxes. They want to confiscate guns, right? They want to go back to transing kids, a whole 9 yards. And I'm bringing this up because it's important that we listen to what these people say when they run. Because if they're being moderate, they're going to be more liberal. And if they sound liberal, they're going to be even crazier than they say. There's a guy named Graham Plattner. Okay, have you heard his name? I mean, he's running for the Senate, and in Maine, right? So he's a Democratic candidate in Maine. Susan Collins, the Rhino Republican there, she is up for re-election. And Graham Plattner likely is going to stitch up the nomination there in Maine. This is what he said at a town hall Monday night in Biddeford, Maine. And pay attention.
There is structural power in the Senate to deal with the Supreme Court. It's going to matter. It's going to require us to get the majority. But at that point, I very much think that we need to be exercising ethics oversight over the court. If we held Supreme Court justices to the exact same standards we hold federal judges, there is a compelling case for the impeachment and removal of at least 2.
Listen to that applause.
But to make that happen, we need to elect people to the Senate that want to wield power like that, who understand that power matters.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Republicans in the Senate right now and trying to get the Save America Act passed. Look, they are stuck on procedural scruples. Oh, we can't do this. Oh, this is not the convention and everything. Meanwhile, the leftists out there are getting ready to play for keeps. They're running, literally saying it out loud. They're not even hiding it, that they intend to impeach sitting Supreme Court justices. Think about this. Republicans in the Senate, even members of the House, haven't even filed a single article of impeachment against a single nut job federal judge like Boasberg, for example, in the District of Columbia, who thinks of himself as some sort of a second president of the United States and has been rebuked numerous times, not by the Supreme Court necessarily as much as from the Court of Appeals. Even Democrat-appointed judges in the Court of Appeals think that Boasberg is a nut job. But Republicans are sitting on their hands going, whoa, we can't do this. It's not, we're not going to do that. Can't get anywhere, da-da-da-da-da. Meanwhile, the communist revolution is afoot, and people like Plattner intend on wielding maximum power. So this is real, and they're talking about it. Like George Conway, George Conway, married once upon a time to Kellyanne Conway. I think they're divorced now, but anyway, Conway went on Tuesday on the Tara Palmieri show. And he's intent on convicting. They want to impeach the Trumpster. I mean, that's the entire agenda for the next 2 years, is to impeach Trump. Listen.
And I do think we're going to have also a Democratic Senate. When you have control of the Senate in that way, you can set the rules. And the rules this time should provide for a real trial. A good trial presentation is going to basically, I think, flip enough Republicans who will be exhausted by this and who will want to rescue their party, if it can be rescued.
And then give them J.D. Vance.
But J.D. Vance, look, I mean, J.D. Vance is subject to impeachable offense. He may be impeached too and removed. That's also possible. But also, it will have, even if he is not, it will have a chilling or an effect on everybody else who comes after that. You can't do this.
You know what I'm hearing here, and maybe I'm hearing things, but I'm hearing a really funny argument from a person, Conway here, big on democracy, big on marching for democracy, big on no kings, right? I think the last time I saw him was at one of the No Kings rallies when I was in D.C. Walking by, there he was, looking dumb as ever. And but when it comes to a guy like Trump who won the popular vote, even against a massive headwind of Democrat voter fraud, he's not interested. He wants to figure out a way to oust him from office because these people are all aspiring dictators, and that's what the left is. We right under our very noses, they are planning an overthrow of the government. And that's why this midterm election matters so much to them. And that's why you and I and every one of our Republican registered friends has to go out and vote. And I get it. I'm not happy with the Senate. I'm not happy with this House of Representatives. I think these Republicans are buffoons. But the alternative is a disaster. is a disaster. Sometimes you just have to hold your nose. I know it's not a good, compelling, exciting argument, but there it is. And what's going to happen, like it happened in Virginia, what's going to happen if Republicans stay home and go, well, I'm mad at Trump and I don't like how things are going, right? All of a sudden, we're going to have a bunch of Graham Plattners egged on by a bunch of George Conways, literally overthrowing the government. And all their rhetoric about democracy and about supporting democracy and about being a representative republic, all this stuff, they don't mean it, is my point. They love power. Everything is in the quest of power. This, by the way, why leftists are, so mercurial. I think that's the word, right? They spill around like mercury and can't really quite, they're not solid in their opinions. The opinion doesn't matter. Their position doesn't matter. Their beliefs don't matter. It's whatever is expedient in the moment to win. And that's why arguments are always emotional, right? Because they make those arguments in the moment. They're not moored. They're not tethered to anything factual, anything historic. Just make up numbers. Oh, California GDP, we're the best. We've grown 40%. California, almost 50% growth under Gavin Newsom. Meanwhile, of course, by the way, I have to mention this too. They're counting the dip of COVID and the comeback from COVID, right? So, you know how that math works out, okay? Because remember, this is counting from 2019, 2020 on. Okay, it's crazy stuff. It's absolute insanity. Well, we gotta watch out. All right. Yeah, I don't know how it turned out in Wisconsin. We're gonna get to we'll talk about that. But this big Supreme Court battle in Wisconsin. The conservative judge there retired. There's her name is Rebecca Bradley. But, I mentioned Wisconsin yesterday, that it's a state that could flip Republican in the next election for governor. But the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act is everything. And it's so important to this, because if the election can be cleaned up before the midterms, there is still hope. And there it is. And Robbie has a plan. I'll share your plan, Robbie. I think it's interesting. Your plan is to go to the Democrats and threaten to nuke them. No. That would be what Trump would do. No, the offer is to put the filibuster limits into law. Put it into law. Make it law. Right now, it's just a rule. They could dispose of it a simple majority. Vote it into law, okay? And therefore make it would require 60 votes to get rid of it. Make it law. Put it in the federal books, right? Pass it. And if the Democrats go, whoa, I don't want to do that. Well, then it's obvious. It's not sacred to them, and they plan to dump it first chance they get. All right? There's no reason left at that point for the Senate GOP holdouts to keep it in place. And then you just pass the Save America Act with the simple majority. There it is. I think it's a good plan. I like it, Robbie. I endorse this 100%. But look, I mean, this is just nuts. By the way, gas prices are coming down. Oil futures tanked overnight. We'll see how they stabilize today in trading. I'm just saying it's an interesting thing, because when gas prices up and up and up. And I was in California over the weekend. I got to tell you something interesting. The California prices didn't seem any higher. I don't know. I mean, a little bit, but I mean, they're always high. They've always been high. They're always $6 or something a gallon. And I love that Newsom is running around, all these Democrats running around, see, Trump did this to gas prices. And I know they went up, obviously, when these events go on, when there's war in the Middle East, when the Strait of Hormuz is being closed, right? I get it, right? There's the price is going to reflect that, but it's all going to come down again. All right. So, so as soon as, literally yesterday, as soon as the ceasefire was announced, 2-week ceasefire, everybody started calming down, and prices already, futures began to drop. Interesting observation, I think. The reason that the gas prices are so high in California, right? They forced the fuel blend to change twice a year, winter, summer, but they've also been shutting down all the refineries, right? And I kind of am enjoying this argument on the Democratic side. Oh, Trump, because of Trump, the Strait of Hormuz is closed, right? Which means less fossil fuels are leaving Iran and the Middle East. You would think that the Democrats, who are allegedly obsessed with the environment, would be delighted by that development, Robbie. What do you mean? Oh, no oil? That's great. I mean, the environmental activists in Europe, all the leftists should be coalescing around. Oh, no, keep the war going. We want to close the strait. No more. It's all nonsense. Back to my argument about how the left operates. It's all about power. Environmentalism, the religion of environmentalism, it's really become and morphed into a religion, hasn't it? Is a giant power grab. If I, under the guise of wanting to protect the environment, am able to regulate you as a business, if I'm able to permit you to operate as long as you purchase environmental indulgences from me, right? These are the carbon offset credits, the biggest scam on the planet. It's such a clown show, right? You pay money to the government, and the government, I don't know, do they plant a tree? What do they do with the money? I mean, they spend it on patronage programs to keep themselves in political power is what they spend it on. This, folks, the Iran war is not over. Okay, this is my prediction, right? Whatever happened last night, overnight, whatever, as we go into Wednesday, all right, it's not over. This is not over. So just don't prepare yourselves for something to. It's going to still sputter and spout. And I, but again, right? The idea of bringing the Iranian regime to heel isn't going to happen overnight. But the immense pressure that Trump is putting on them is going to take its toll. It already has, right? Oh, and I saw, by the way, I didn't acknowledge this even. The Iranians put out the deal that they think that they're just lying about the deal. Like, I don't know. I don't think Trump agreed to a deal that says that America will pay reparations to Iran. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. But then what I love is that the media and the various pundits, right? Democrats, liberals, Trump haters, they parrot the propaganda of these regimes and repeat it as if it's truth. Now, I'm not saying that Trump doesn't lie, right? For example, I mean, I don't think he was all that serious about a nuke, but whatever. I don't know. These regimes, I mean, these people lie. And if I swear, Robbie, if the Iraq invasion were happening today, in the age of Twitter and the X and Blue Sky and Truth Social and the like, Baghdad Bob, everybody would be retweeting videos of Baghdad Bob swearing that everything is perfect in Baghdad, in the country. There's no military. Americans they've been wiped out. Remember that guy? He was the press minister, the Department of Misinformation for Saddam Hussein's regime. And he got up there on TV. He just flat out lied. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of, well, can we say fog of war? I think we can say that here. So listen, we'll know more again as we go through tomorrow. Wednesday will be a big day. I have my thoughts on where this is going to go. But in the meantime, got to refocus too on the domestic agenda. We got to get the Save America Act passed. It has to happen. All right. We do. Needs to happen. Voter ID, very simple. Clean up the elections, voter rolls, all the stuff. And Republicans, you know, in the Senate, you heard what we said here on the What's Right show. We have a plan for you of how to make that happen. Sam Urjovsky here on the What's Right Media Network, at What's Right Sam on X, Sam at what'srightshow.com is my email. The What's Right Show, wherever you get your podcasts, click to subscribe so you get the show first thing in the morning. You have to wait